D.C., investigative journalist Kimberly Dvorak. Kimberly, I'm glad you navigated your way to our bureau in Washington, D.C. I know it's right in the middle of that 100-block cordoned-off section of Washington, D.C. Security very tight. I want to talk about that. But first, what was your location during the inauguration, and what were you doing?
Well, I was actually over where a lot of the veterans were who are actually disabled, so I was right by the reflecting pool. And it was actually a really interesting experience to kind of hang out with the veterans who fought for this country and who are absolutely ecstatic to see that we have a new president of the United States.
Not unlike 1980. I get the same feelings in 1980, 1981 of Ronald Reagan, when there was a revival among the military as well, and people very happy to see Jimmy Carter go. I think it's the same feeling if you're a member of the United States military here. Now, the security. I know there were layers of security. What was it like? There were barriers put in place. There were all kinds of different barriers, as well as screening procedures?
Yeah, there were. Last night around midnight, they shut everything down, and if you weren't cleared to get inside what they call the green zone here, every vehicle that's inside was in essence checked, so they didn't have any surprises. And then as you got closer to Constitution Boulevard and got towards the Capitol, it just everywhere you went, it was like they're funneling people down and down and down to where they're not letting anybody in without any security. And it was really tight. A lot of people. We went through. There were a lot of lines and a lot of stuff to go through. However, it went pretty smoothly, getting in there, getting out. And people were, it was an amazing feeling to watch these people, to use a word that Donald Trump uses, to watch the people that elected him and their excitement and just the, how can I help you? Thank you. It's so great. Isn't it a great day? And a lot of things that I heard after he gave his short speech is that this was very reminiscent, if you can believe it, of JFK. They really thought that Melania had the Jackie Kennedy thing happening, and that Trump really gave a speech that spoke to the people and included everyone. And then, of course, the young girl who sang the Star-Spangled Banner there, the national anthem at the end, spectacular, unbelievable voice, and everything, I believe, went off without a hitch. And we even got to see Obama fly away for the last time to another vacation.
Well, it appeared that way watching on television, that there were no skirmishes, no major incidents. We don't know. Obviously, the Secret Service and the rest of the 28,000 law enforcement there, maybe they had some problems that we don't even know about. But either way, it went off without a hitch. Did you see any sign of these protesters at all?
Oh. Yeah, on the outer barriers, which were fairly far away, and down around 12th and K Street, which is a little far away from the down here by the Capitol, it's a little ways away. Some violent protesters getting out of hand. When we were all coming in, we saw some people holding signs, obviously wrong president, he's not my president, that type of stuff. But the numbers were so much smaller than I was expecting, and then I think that even the D.C. police here expected.
And, that doesn't surprise me at all, because those numbers were being overblown. They said that possibly a third of the people attending would be protesting. That would put numbers at around 300,000. But that was the mainstream media. And speaking of the mainstream media, it seems as though that they are still in some sort of state of denial that Donald Trump is the 45th president of the United States. And that's fine. They can keep doing that. But I have a feeling that over the long term here, over the long haul, that denial is going to quickly turn into attack mode from the mainstream media.
Well, let me say, if they continue along the way they're reporting the news stories on Donald Trump, they do it at their own peril, because people are quickly either closing the tab or changing the channel. And they still don't get it. I've attended a few media autopsies as a credentialed member of the media. I'm talking to these people, and they still don't get it. I said, look, the American people are not only upset with the politicians in Washington, D.C., they're tired of the elite media in Washington, D.C. as well. And if, I talked to several members, I'm like, if you drive from the East Coast to the West Coast, as I've done, and talk to, hundreds of people. They're all saying the same thing. They are tired of the same handful of people reporting the news for the last 20, 25 years. So I think the vote also, in essence, I mean, you and I are in the news business, so we try to get the news out there. I mean, they continue to do this. It's going to be at their own peril because the people have learned now they can get alternative media sources, and it's up to us to make sure that we provide facts and get the information out there that's correct.
Well,
I mean, and just being straightforward with this new president.
Well put, I think, and present company excluded, of course, when we're talking about the mainstream media, and I think they are, in the end, making a huge mistake. But at the same time, they're not going to change. They didn't change when Ronald Reagan was president back in the 1980s. They're not going to change now. And so, yes, these alternative sources, like the present company included, need to get out the actual message. And I think that even the mainstream media, in all their glory, are going to benefit from a more robust Donald Trump economy over the next 4 years. Kim, thanks.